Get in here! We are live. It is time for the investigation. If you guys just now tuning in, make sure you like this video, comment on this video, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Zaydon, for more great content. Listen, I want to thank you guys so much for being with me on this new audio episode. My name is Zaydon, and I am hosting this gag review investigation. Who killed Takeoff? Now, I don't know if you guys have been under a rock or been actually watching the news, but recently Takeoff, 1/3 of the MIGOS, platinum selling rap group, 28-year-old kid was killed in Houston, Texas, outside a bowling alley. There's a lot of speculation of what happened. There's a lot of speculation of who did it, what went wrong. There was so many people that were there to witness this situation of Takeoff being killed. And so the authorities are just want to investigate and figure out who all was there to help figure out what happened. You know, why did this young kid just tragically lose his life? And from what it sounded like to me, it sounds like he was just an innocent bystander. He was just at the wrong place at the wrong time. But at the end of the day, it's just heartbreaking. You guys know, I'm Zaydon, and I'm from Houston, Texas, and so I do rep Houston to the fullest, and so does Beyonce. She's from Houston, Texas, and so I think it's very, very sad that this happened in Houston, Texas, where I'm from, of Takeoff being killed. Now, before we start this new audio episode, we want to send our condolences to the family. We want to send our love and support. This is not easy. Everyone looks at Takeoff as a fan of his music, but he actually has a family. Quavo is his uncle. He is a nephew. Offset, which is in the group as well, that's their cousin. And so this is truly a family. This is truly something that's not, put together for profit and gain. Like, they truly came out and got it out of the mud. And so we're going to figure out on this episode and investigate what happened. Why was Offset killed? Why was his life cut so short? Why is it that young Black rappers are constantly being targeted 10 times more? And why that every time, there's a rap person that passes away, it's just like they're a rapper. Why are rappers such an endangered species? So on this new audio episode, we're going to take a look, but make sure you guys like the video. Liking the video is just an easy way to support the channel. I want this video to get seven likes on my YouTube channel and also on my Facebook and on my Twitter account. So you guys are seeing this audio episode, make sure you hit the like button, because the like button helps us grow to get more subscribers, and it's just a free way to support the channel. But let's get into this audio episode. We're gonna start off with some shocking allegations about Takeoff's murder. But before we start that, we want to figure out who he was before the fame, what kind of person he was. And so we have a little audio clip that we're gonna play. Do we have that clip, production? Okay, roll it.
2022, Takeoff was shot and killed at a bowling alley in Houston, Texas, after a private party to celebrate the birthday of Jay Prince, a well-known music manager and an influential figure in the Houston hip-hop scene. While the true details of how and why Takeoff died are completely unclear, whether it was an accident, a setup, or cold-blooded murder, one thing is for sure. With Takeoff gone, the world of music has lost a true legend. The MIGOS were three close family members and best friends who started from nothing and went on to change the sound of both hip-hop and pop music forever, and Takeoff was a third of their entire sound. Without his calm, cool, and collected delivery and persona, the Migos would probably have never reached the incredible heights that they did. From 2013 to 2020, Migos were the sound of trap music, bringing Atlanta culture, language, and music to the mainstream stage on a level that had never been seen before. The rising commercial popularity of trap music has become a huge part of the American pop sound, and the Migos' ability to make massive hit songs over and over only made it happen that much more quickly. But none of that ever would have happened without Takeoff. But even more important than the #1 albums and the viral songs was the bond that the Migos had as people. All three of them were raised together in Georgia as kids and then later found international success together as adults. The Migos bond was iconic, and it was a huge part of why they were so well loved in the first place. An entire generation of kids, teenagers, college students, and music lovers all over the world saw Takeoff as a musical hero for his raspy voice and focused delivery that was wildly popular for almost a decade straight. Seeing the Migos rise to the top of the industry over the last 10 years and truly earn their success as rap legends makes Takeoff's death one of the most heartbreaking losses of an artist in recent memory. But what's even more tragic is that he was far from finished, having released an album with Quavo just a few weeks before he shockingly lost his life. This is the story of Takeoff, an amazing rapper who is both the most underrated yet talented artist in one of the most famous rap groups of all time. The story of Takeoff, an artist who deserved nothing but respect and whose name will continue to live on forever now that he's gone. Takeoff was born on June 18, 1994 in Lawrenceville, Georgia, a small city outside Atlanta. He was raised alongside his uncle and his first cousin once removed, who would later go on to be known as Quavo and Offset, the other two-thirds of the Migos. While Takeoff was the youngest of the crew by 3 years, he was the one who would later convince the others to start taking rap more seriously. Takeoff loved music from an early age, and he first started making beats and writing rhymes when he was just 12 years old. But Quavo and Offset both played football in high school, and early on they were much more focused on sports than rap. But while they were busy at practice, Takeoff would download beats from the internet and make homemade mixtapes all by himself. The story goes that when Quavo and Offset would get home from sports practice, Takeoff would play them his music. At first they didn't take him seriously, but over time they realized that he might be onto something. And eventually they believed in his vision so strongly that the three of them dropped out of high school together to start making music full time. If it weren't for Takeoff's early vision and passion, there was a good chance the Migos might never have existed at all. It wasn't long after that the three of them began hustling their mixtapes around Atlanta that they caught the attention of one of the city's most influential artists, Gucci Mane. Gucci became an early mentor to the Migos and let them record at his studio for free. He also showed their music to his friends Kevin Lee and Pierre Thomas, who would later become instrumental in the Migos' career when they signed them a few years later. The two businessmen were immediately impressed by the Migos' sound, Takeoff in particular. Pierre later told Rap Radar that Takeoff was spitting like crazy, and he was strongly reminded of Bone Thugs, one of the most influential rap groups of the 1990s. When Coach K and Pierre decided to join forces and start Quality Control Records in 2013, the Migos were one of their very first signees. Their first move was to team up with Gucci Mane's longtime producer Zaytoven and record the track Versace, which became their breakout hit. The Migos would truly begin to dominate the charts in 2016 with the success of Bad and Bougie featuring Lil Uzi Vert, which became their first #1 hit on Billboard. Although many people considered Takeoff to be the best, most talented rapper in the Migos, Offset and Quavo were always the much more visible members of the group. Takeoff had a much more chill and laid-back persona, which sometimes led to a narrative that he was being left behind. But in the infamous interview with DJ Academics and Joe Budden, he made it clear that he wouldn't tolerate disrespect, and it became one of the biggest viral moments of the year.
You say I'm left off Bad and Bougie? What's that? You say I'm left off Bad and Bougie? Yeah. Do it look like I'm left off Bad and Bougie?
Takeoff had some really memorable moments on the Migos' early albums. Songs like Cross the Country, Narcos, and Slippery include some of his best verses ever. But after a few years of major success, the Migos took some time to work on solo albums so they could come back with a new perspective. Takeoff's album The Last Rocket came out in October 2018 to major critical acclaim. The project proved that Takeoff could stand on his own as an artist, and many people to this day feel that it was the best album out of any of the Migos' solo projects. Peaking at number 4 on the Billboard charts and staying on the charts for over 10 weeks, to this day the record has almost 400 million streams. The Migos would then reunite for what would tragically be their final album, Culture 3. While it was initially announced in 2019, it wouldn't come out until June 2021. And while it wasn't quite as critically acclaimed and commercially successful as the first 2 installments of the Culture trilogy, Culture 3 was still a satisfying conclusion. The project featured some big hits like Need It and Straightening, and it proved that the Migos were still a dominant force in hip-hop after nearly a decade. But following the release of Culture 3, internal disagreements within the group led to an indefinite hiatus. In 2022, fans noticed that Offset and Cardi B no longer followed Quavo and Takeoff Takeoff on Instagram. And shortly after that, Quavo and Takeoff announced that they were forming a separate group from the Migos, while Offset opened a lawsuit against their label over the ownership rights to his solo projects. It's still not entirely clear what led to the split, but in a recent interview, Quavo and Takeoff alluded to Offset being disloyal. They didn't eliminate the possibility of a reunion, but they did reveal that they had no further plans to ever continue Migos at that time. Quavo and Takeoff have been teaming up to release new music for most of 2022, including a fun, exciting track on DJ Khaled's new album, a few singles of their own, and most recently they dropped an album called Only Built for Infinity Links just a few weeks ago. Watching through all of their music videos and interviews from this year, it seemed like they were having a great time and truly enjoying the music they were making. And as always, Takeoff was highly praised for his lyrical ability and how much he's continuing to develop as an artist. He was a huge part of some of the new album's best songs, including tracks like Nothing Changed and Messy. In a recent appearance on the Drink Champs podcast, Takeoff admitted that he still felt like he had a lot to prove as an artist, despite his long list of achievements.
Is that something you had in your mind when you was going in recording?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
I mean, enough is enough. You know, I'm chill, you know, I'm something laid back, but it's time to pop it, you know what I mean?
And his words now seem chilling, as he would be killed only a week later. It remains entirely unclear what led to Takeoff being shot and killed that night in Houston. There are so many conflicting stories and narratives floating around that it could be months or years until the truth is revealed. But to start from nothing, running in the streets of Atlanta with your cousin and your uncle, your best friends, and to end up as three of the most influential rappers of the decade, Takeoff was one of the most accomplished artists of his entire generation. And no senseless act of violence will ever take that legacy away. And the most important thing to remember about him is that he wasn't just a character on a screen. He was a brother to the Migos, literally and figuratively. He was an extremely influential artist who changed the hip-hop and pop culture landscape all before the age of 30. The death of Takeoff is a shock and a major loss to music. He will never.
And there you have it, people. The story of Takeoff and the Amigos. Listen, if you guys are just now tuning in, make sure you guys like this video, comment on this video, and subscribe to my YouTube channel later on for more great content. Thank you. Listen, guys, liking the video is a free way to support the channel, so make sure you hit that like button. We're trying to get 7 likes this video. So the more hearts I see, the more views that will come up. So there you just had it. We heard the story of Takeoff. Now we're gonna fast forward to October 30th. I think Halloween. 31st, I think. Halloween night around 2 a.m. Twitter is saying rest in peace, Takeoff. So apparently there was a video. And I actually have seen the video, and here on Gag Review, we're not going to play that kind of content on this channel, but I did see the video that was circling through social media. And at first, I came across this from Hollywood Unlocked, Jason Lee. Now, when he first reported on this story, he actually said that Takeoff and Quavo were both gunned down, but then I guess they took the post down and they edited it back to where it was just Takeoff that was killed. Now, I get the news that Takeoff was passed away. Immediately, I felt sick to my stomach. I felt ill. I wanted to throw up. You know, I was having a good day, but immediately I just felt ill and sick, and I just couldn't figure out for the life of me why this would happen, why someone could just do this to him. You know, I had so many questions of where the security was, where's the bodyguard, you know, all these things that's running through my head is why. He's barely 28 years old. And even though he, you know, been in the game for 10 years, and in those kind of years is different from regular kind of years, the way you live your life with money and access and fame and privilege, but just the time span of his life is very short. It's very short. And so we actually have a little bit of the incident from the Houston Police Department. We were able to get that audio clip for you guys. So we're going to just go ahead and roll that clip whenever you're ready, production.
The human element first, before we do anything. I spoke to this young man's mother just an hour ago. Flew in here from out of town. I want everybody to understand the pain, the suffering of a mother. Very tough. And I told her, as we stand with any victim of violence or any homicide victim, their family, we stand with them in this city, in this police department, and everybody that's standing behind me. I want to thank our homicide unit under the direction of Commander Spears for doing great work time and time again. I'm going to speak briefly, and I'm going to turn it over to the homicide investigator Arrington. After he speaks, I'm going to get Commander Garcia to come up and translate in Spanish. And he'll go over some of the investigative parts. But let me speak to this just right. We understand and we know it. This morning at about approximately 2:34 a.m., officers received a call of a shooting in progress. Officers arrived there shortly thereafter. The location is a downtown location, billiards, bowling alley located at 1201 San Jacinto Street here in the downtown area. Once officers arrived, they came upon a male who was deceased. That male has been identified as Persnick Ball, better known as Takeoff. He's a member of the MIGOS rap group out of Atlanta. And I want to pause again because sometimes the hip-hop community gets a bad name. And I know, evident from this city and people who I have a personal relationship, a lot of great people in our hip-hop community. And I respect them. But back to Takeoff. I got many calls from Houston and outside of Houston. And everyone spoke of what a great young man this is, how peaceful he is, what a great artist. And I'm calling upon everybody, our hip-hop artists in Houston and around the nation. We got to police ourselves. It is so many talented individuals, men and women, in that community, who again I love and I respect. And we all need to stand together and make sure nobody tears down that industry. And I'm calling to start here in Houston, here and possibly as early as next week. I want to meet with some of our artists and see how we can taper things down. Right now, I'm going to turn it over to the investigator, and we'll our commander translate, and the mayor is here for questions as well. But I want to pray for, ask that we all pray for his mother, his family, and all of his friends who are in deep pain and shock still right now. Thank you. Investigator, come on up.
Thank you. Thank you again, Chief, and thank you all for coming here. And good afternoon. I'm Sergeant Michael Arrington. I'm a sergeant with the Houston Police Department's Homicide Division. And earlier this morning, as he said, our patrol officers received a call at approximately 2:34 a.m. of a shooting just occurred at the 810 Billiard Factory and, billiard and bowling alley. From there, we were notified that there was a single male who was shot and pronounced deceased on the scene on the third level outside, just outside the front door. We were also informed that two other individuals had reported themselves by personal vehicle to local area hospitals on their own, both of them with non-life-threatening injuries, but a 23-year-old male and a 24-year-old female. Like I said, both of them are going to be okay, and we have spoken and gotten information from them to help us in this investigation. But the officers arriving on the scene, initial statements from employees working at the establishment notified us that there was an incident that occurred after the party had ended. There was a private party that was booked out for the event. And then after that ended, there was a large group of people who gathered at the front door area just outside of the building. And it led to an argument where the shooting took place from the disagreement. A lot of the people that were there fled the scene and did not stick around to give a statement. So we're asking them to either call us at the Homicide Division at 713-308-3600, or if they would like to remain anonymous, they can call Crime Stoppers at 713-222-TIPS. We're looking for any information at this time, any videos, any information. We do know that the media has received a lot of phone calls, text messages, Twitter, tweets, vines, videos. We need all of y'all to send those to us so we can solve this case. We're looking for anything to help us. From there, as the chief said, we want to find justice for this family. They're going through a lot right now. And the only thing that we can do is hope that y'all reach out and assist us in any way to lead to evidence that will help us to apprehend and get charged.
And there you have it. The Houston Police Department has spoken to us about Takeoff's death. It's sad. Listen, if you guys are just now tuning in, make sure you guys like this video, comment on this video, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Zaydon, for more great content. So we've already gone over the story of Takeoff. Now we've gone over the investigation from the Houston Police Department about what happened. So if you guys have any videos or you have any proof or you have anything that you or there, please come forward. We do not want to have another Tupac and Biggie unsolved murder, and don't hold the people accountable for their actions. Now, I'm gonna go take out a personal story right now of me being in a particular situation as well. So I lived in Compton at one point in my life before I moved to Hollywood. I was at my cousin's house and she wanted us to go to a party, and I was like, okay, let's go to a party, let's go out. The party was heavily packed. A lot of people were there. A lot of craziness was going on. I walk into the party, and number one, don't get me wrong, I love my black people. I love black people. But when there's like 200 black people in an area, wearing different gang colors and the gang affiliations, I'm already thinking to my head like, oh no, this ain't the place to turn up at. I walk in and I see people with, side pieces, a lot of marijuana, a lot of booty shaking, a lot of, black people just sitting around looking and drinks being passed. It was so heavily packed. As soon as I walked in, like my stomach started to like knot up in a way. It was like I was like, I felt kind of like I don't know, my intuition was telling me like, oh no, this isn't the place to be. This isn't the place to be. And so I just felt, and now even though I came with my cousin and I came with, I think, someone else too, I was like, this was not the place to be. I felt, like, and I even at one point like left the party and went into the front and kind of stayed in the front of the house because I was so nervous of everyone around. And one thing I know is that when people are around and they're drinking and they're smoking and they're and people are in a small, it was a house and it was packed, so I can only imagine the craziness. And so I went in, I went around, I was like, oh my God, that's not really a lot of exits in here. I told myself there wasn't an exits. There was like, if something were to pop off, like all these people here will be in trouble because it was in a back area where there's no if there's a back like patio, kind of like a music area, and there was no exit out of there. And so if you something were to happen, they would literally have to run out of there to the front of the front of the apartment, or sorry, house. And so I just felt uncomfortable, and people were looking at me. And not even though I was super cute, don't get me wrong, I was super cute, but I just felt like, oh, like this wasn't the place to be. Like, I already had a couple of drinks before I went there, and so I was already like feeling some kind of way. And so, but long story short, I ended up leaving the party early. I said, because I'm just gonna stay in the car. Like, so I stayed in the car the whole time until they have fun, until they finally left. And then like right when we left or something, so something had popped off at the party, and they were leaving. And so the police got called. And then the morning I woke up, that very same night, was the next day I heard that Nipsey Hussle got killed. That was the next thing. The next day that he got killed. And I don't know, I just felt, eerie, and I just felt like I don't know, my intuition was telling me like this wasn't places B. Because as soon as my cousin came out of the party, oh, there's a fight, something happened, da, 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 da. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was glad that my warning sign kicked in and told me, this wasn't a place to be. And so, I don't know. Then there was, I don't know if people patted us down, or I don't remember, we just walked in. I think we just walked in. But if people just walking in, didn't, who's telling what they have on them? And when you have 200 black people at a house in Compton, I don't know what could go down. And so luckily I got in and I got out. Um, but that was a little story time about how I felt, in a situation that could be similar to Takeoff's death. When you're in a room with people that are gambling, and they have money and they have guns. I saw at one point Quavo was riding around with, I think it was Jay Prince, or his birthday, for his birthday or something, and I saw there was a gun in the vehicle. Already, that's a red flag. Where's your security at? Like, it's just too much going on in this world today. And so we want to send our condolences to his family. We're sad that this happened. We don't understand why this happened. And so, it's just unfortunate that this young man just lost his life over nothing, and so, and I think that he was a person that was actually, not the aggressive in the situation. He just stand back as an innocent bystander, because he's really like laid back. Like, he's not like, even when I saw his video with him and Quavo, he was like waking him up in the car, and he was like, "Hey, what's up, man?" And he got up like calm and cool and collected. He didn't go up rushing like nothing. He was just calm. And so Takeoff's immunity, he's just a calm person. Like, he's really like so talented. His lyrics are so talented. And Matt, the Migos was, I love the Migos group. And so now it's just sad that we lost this talented young black man at 28 years old, Mr. Kirsnick Ball. And so, and now we're just wondering, like, who's next? Why is this always happening? I feel like ever since Biggie and Pac, rappers have been dying at a phenomenal rate. I don't know if it's fame or it's the money, because if I'm telling you, if I'm a rapper worth millions and millions of dollars, I'm having constant security all day, every single day. I don't care. We're not gonna be in certain areas where it's too much craziness going down. So you're out all hours of the night. No, you're supposed to be inside the house, laying down, getting ready for the next day. Go out, have your fun, and go home. But when you're in Houston, right on Fifth Ward, nothing good is in Houston and Fifth Ward at 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. That's where all the danger pop out. I lived in Houston. I know. People thinking Houston just a joke. No, Houston is about that life. And it's sorry to say that, but it's the truth. And so we want to investigate a little bit further here on Gag Review and figure out what happened hours prior. Where was Takeoff before he was killed? And so we have a little audio clip of Johnny the jeweler. I don't know if you guys have been in Houston. You know Johnny the jeweler. He's a jeweler for all the rappers, Slim Thug, Paul Wall, all the rappers in Houston. And so we have an audio clip from them actually being at Johnny the jeweler. Go ahead, roll production.
Is coming forward with new surveillance video from the night Takeoff died. He tells 11 Alive Takeoff, Quavo, and their entourage stopped by his store just hours before that shooting. As our Cody Alcorn reports, the man known as the King of Bling was one of the last people to see the Grammy-nominated artist alive.
This is surveillance video of Takeoff and Quavo, along with their entourage, walking into Houston's Johnny Dang and Company custom jewelry.
We open late for you because that's a convenient that I always take care of them.
Johnny Dang says his spot is always a stop for the group.
Whenever they go to Houston, he just stop by, hanging out, and buy some new stuff.
He says Takeoff and Quavo stopped by to get some jewelry cleaned and to check out a couple new pieces.
He just said right there on Monday night. Takeoff is very, very quiet, so nice. I've been around with them so many times.
Hours later, Takeoff was gunned down after leaving a private party in downtown Houston outside a bowling alley. A shock to the entire hip-hop industry and fans around the world, including Dane, who is known in the industry as King of Bling.
Losing, lost one of the members like Takeoff is a very big loss.
Houston police say about 40 people were outside that private party when something went down and shots were fired. Police confirmed at least.
So there you have it. There was at least 40 people in this area. So somebody saw something. If y'all got pictures and videos, and allegedly there's this man in a picture being shown on social media where he had a gun, but the sources close to them think that was actually Quavo's crew member, and that was he was protecting them. But there's pictures going around social media of this gentleman that took a picture with Quavo. A lot of people are saying a lot of other crazy stuff, but we're not going to repeat that here on this channel. People say a lot of craziness that's not true. And so we also wanted to make sure that we gave our flowers to Takeoff on this new audio episode. He is super talented. His music, his writing, his skill, how they all dropped out of high school to pursue a rap career that you don't know if it's going to work or not, and take the risk and actually fulfill your joy. And I think that it's a lot that we can learn from this. Even if you're the biggest rap group in the world, constantly having security, your bodyguards around, scoping out vulnerable situations. I don't think if you ever catch me in a room like that for long, because I'm thinking of my safety, because things can always pop up. I might be thinking I'm okay, but these people might get into an altercation with someone else, and I might be just an innocent bystander and gets taken out. And that'll be a tragic situation. But I had a lot to say when I heard this story, and I wanted to do the audio episode today because I wanted to take some time. I don't like when the story's out and people just jump on the story right away and posting stuff. And I like to take some time for the audio episode or any episode of Gag Review, because I want to get my homework together and come with a logical explanation, or even as just trying to get more facts. Because when you put out videos of things, because it's like quickly, what's on an episode quickly, things can get misconstrued. And so I wanted to take some time, but I actually called in on the Wiley show, and I think we have the audio of me calling in on the Wiley show. So go ahead, roll production.
I don't believe he have none from my little search here. Okay. I don't Somebody said, no, I believe he don't have none. And then somebody said to you, that's what I Googled. All right. Okay. Hello. Good morning.
Wiley, what is going on in the world? Why are people so sick? It is disgusting. I am literally, I feel sick to my stomach, Wiley, when I heard this news of Takeoff passing away. I have so many questions, like where was the security? Where's the bodyguard? Where are the people protecting you? How much money was the game over? Who killed them? Did they get away? I have all these questions in my head, and I'm trying to rationalize, why are rappers such an endangered species? It seems like every couple of months a rapper is dying, except Tekashi 6ix9ine. Why is it that had to take that man's life for no reason? It's just sick. It's just sick, Wiley. It's like, and now it just makes it even worse because the Migos weren't on the most speaking terms with Offset and Cardi B, because at one point they did, so they chose Nicki over Cardi, and then it's like now this news is in Houston at a bowling alley at a private party, and it's like over some money. Like, why can't the young men put down the guns and duke it out with their fists or with their hands or something? Why is gun violence always being brought into? Wow, you said it right. Texas has a thing with their guns, right? They're not going to drop their bare arms for anything with their guns at all. And here we have it. People don't want to admit that gun violence is a problem in America. And yet you have this 28-year-old kid born in 1994, 28 years old, being shot and killed over a stupid craps game. And now at first I didn't believe it, Wiley, because Hollywood Unlocked posted it by Jason Lee, and he doesn't always get the stories right. But then when I saw that it was posted on TMZ, and now that it's posted on the Shade Room, now it's posted on Neighborhood Talk with Kyle. This is a sad story, Wiley. What are your thoughts on this? I mean, do you feel like he was targeted?
I don't feel like he was targeted. I feel like, somebody had a weapon, mad that they lost a dice game, and started shooting. I don't believe that he was targeted. It's really, really sad when people have these parties and you have it in Texas, and most of the times people don't search you. I remember I was recently in Atlanta, and the security guard just asked us for our money. Didn't search us, so if anybody wants to do something, they could just do it freely in Georgia. And Texas is a right to bear arms state. It is so easy to own a gun in Texas. It's really, really easy. It's just like getting a bag of candy. That's how easy it is. And so we definitely going to see. Hopefully, the person that did this is caught and that he served a life sentence. And hopefully, I'm praying for the family, because I'm praying for Takeoff's mother and father and family, because they're going to have, most of them probably heard the news first on the internet that their loved one is gone, their brother, their cousin, their son is no longer here. And I'm definitely praying for his family, because we look at him as a fan, but he's somebody's family member.
Of course.
They gotta have to deal with the burden of burying their loved one.
Did you see the photo, Wiley, of Quavo trying to pick him up off of the floor? Absolutely. And all the blood that was around him, apparently he got shot somewhere in the head or near the neck. But my question to you, Wiley, where's his security? Where's his people? You know that you're a rapper worth millions and millions of dollars. Where's your people? You saw
I think a lot of these rappers feel like, I'm with my bros, I'm with my crew, that's all the security I need. And that's not true. Like Beyonce, you would not catch Beyonce without security. You would not catch Jay-Z out there playing dice. Like, I feel like rappers need to move a different type of way. They still want to be out in the streets, still want to play dice, still want to play cards. You can't do that anymore. You said something about Tekashi 6ix9ine. You don't see Tekashi 6ix9ine slacking without security.
No, he don't.
And he's very cautious when he goes. You don't see Tekashi out here playing dice in the middle of the night. No, he changed the way he talk a lot of mess, but he's heavily guarded. He have heavily secured. A lot of his money goes towards security. So he's not out here. You're not going to catch, Tekashi out here by himself. That's just not going to happen.
It's not. And did you see Diddy, right? Diddy dressed up as a Joker, and he was going around making a lot of noise and stuff. But you see when Diddy was outside, he had all his security around him. All his people was, standing there. So if anything popped off, his security is going to be the first one. If I was a rapper and I'm worth millions of dollars and I'm Quavo or Takeoff from this big group of Migos, you should have 24 armed security around you at all times. I don't care if it's a private party. People are always looking to kill people for no reason, or for stupid reasons, I should say, over a dice game. I mean, is your life really worth that kind of money? I just got so many questions. It's just sad. It's like rappers are an endangered species, Wiley, and there has to be something done. I feel like ever since the Biggie and Pac death, the rappers have just been going at a phenomenal rate. That it's sad. It's sick to me. You know, I just feel like throwing up when I saw this news. I didn't want to believe it. And then they had a point where they said that Quavo may have gotten shot too, but kind of found out that wasn't true at all. And it's just sad for Wiley. And I pray for his family. And I pray that, you know, we can heal this, because at the end of the day, it's just sad. They just dropped the project together, out trying to promote their project. And now here it is. We're mourning the life of Takeoff. Now, not only that, Wiley, there has been multiple shots on Halloween night from all across the world of people being shot at or being killed. And it's sad that the day after Halloween, we got to wake up in here that Takeoff was brutally murdered in Houston, Texas. And so that's all I got to say, Wiley. Well, thank you so much. And there you have it. There you have it. I said what I said. Listen, if you guys are just now tuning into this new audio episode, make sure you guys like this video, comment on this video, share the video if you care, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want to see some good content, send some stars to my Facebook. Come on, Elon Musk, do monetization for Twitter as well, because I'm racking up views on Twitter. Help me get a check. Listen, thank you guys so much for tuning in with me on this new audio episode, investigation, gag review. We are investigating Takeoff's murder here on what happened. So if anyone who was there of the 40 people, please come forward. Call the Houston Police Department and share the images, the videos, and so we can figure out his murder and who killed him and why and for what. Now, like I said, this did happen on the day after Halloween, I think November 1st. And so, you know, there has been preparations for Takeoff's funeral. There have been preparations for his service and stuff. But before we hear about his services and stuff, we actually wanted to take a look at his social media. So we're going to investigate Takeoff's Instagram page. We're going to be stalking it right now. So you go to his page. He's 8.8 million followers. He says young Takeoff. Here's a video of Quavo.
Take. Man, that's just a crazy ass dream, bro. What? That's some messy ass shit. I gotta walk through 100 house with a kid. Walking, man, there's a bunch of shit going on at that house, sure. Yeah. What the fuck we got? I don't know.
So there you have it. Messy's out now. Here you also have Takeoff and another photo here and video. You know, they love their drugs. Quavo and Takeoff was on the Jimmy Fallon show Thursday, 10/6. So this is literally, 25 days before he passed away. He performed at the Jimmy Fallon show. And I actually saw that one song was Nothing Changed. If you guys haven't heard Nothing Changed, it's absolutely amazing. And it actually is very grim because in some of the lyrics that Takeoff spitting, he actually kind of predicted his death in a way. He said that be careful, make sure your shooters got aim. He said shoot out the brain. And at one point, I thought the Migos said that they don't talk about those kind of things anymore because of the power of the tongue. And one point, I've also mentioned that they're an interview that said that they don't post where they are until after they're over and done with. So I don't know if they were at multiple locations, but at one point, Offset did post not Offset, Takeoff did post a picture of him at the Houston area. So that was kind of confusing to me as well because I was confused on why they did that. And so that was also confusing. It was confusing to me. And so, here's another picture of Takeoff and Quavo as kids. That's Quavo, that's Takeoff. Look at them. They're just always together. Built for infinity, links it forever. I like this photo of them too. You can see they met so many people.
This sort of like legacy of that standard of what you guys do.
You know what I'm saying? We've been doing it for 10 years. It's a blessing.
That's big.
You know, it's time to go even beyond to infinity. You know, it's time to go to the moon. It's time to, that was the breakthrough. You ever seen a rocket? You know, just looking at it, and as it goes,
that's a rocket. That's a rocket right there.
You know what I'm saying? It breaks those little parts up, and then they keep going in the atmosphere. So we got going straight. We're going past. You know what I'm saying? We already took you to Jupiter. Now we trying to go to Mars with this shit.
Yeah, Jimmy, we can
maybe more galaxy.
Yeah.
You ever travel light years?
I love to, Quay.
As you can see, they had a new project out, Infinity Links. I like this picture with them too as well. And so that was his uncle. I go in the jungle and they got the coat. I better come out with a man. As you can see, they're just rapping there, but we can't play the whole music here on Gag Review because they will strike my page and my channel. So we can't play the whole music lick on here. But as you can see, like, he is a talented young man. He has family. Like, this is his blood brother, that's his uncle. Like, they're family. And so, they got Offset, me, Quavo, and you got Takeoff right there. So, it's just sad that his legacy is coming to an end. Well, his life's coming to an end, but his legacy will live on through us. So we keep sharing his music. We keep praying for his family. We keep thinking about this young man because it's a shame, but there's a post that came across my feed one day and that it said that Black men should grow old. And that is so true. But our Black men have to be a little bit smarter on how they move and how they operate. I think that, people tend to think that their safeties, they're always great, I guess. And it's not the case. And, everywhere I go, I'm always thinking about my safety or what could or could not happen, what could or could not go wrong. And so I don't know if that's just me or I don't know, but I'm always worried, about my safety of where I am, where I'm going. And so it's just sad. But before we end this audio episode, I just want to thank you guys so much for being with me. I just know this is very long, but we have to get all the information correct because we are investigation Gag Review. Who killed Takeoff and the reason why they killed this young man? Why did they kill Takeoff? Why did they take his life? Why wasn't there any other shots fired in any other directions other than Takeoff's? Now, there were two people that did get shot, but they were non-life-threatening injuries. Why did this happen to Takeoff? We want to investigate. We're finding out. The investigation is still continuing. Officers haven't narrowed down a suspect or arrest. They're looking for the public. So anyone who was there that night in Houston at the bowling alley, come forward. It's only right. This could be your brother. This could be your cousin. This could be your son. come forward and expose the truth of what happened, because this is more than just for snitching. This is someone's life, and if it wasn't me in that situation, I would want everyone to do the best and help out the best they could for the investigation of my whatever. But um but we actually have a little audio episode. We have a little audio, clip of takeoff services and when they might begin. So let's just go ahead and roll that production.
We have more information about funeral arrangements for Migos rapper Takeoff. His celebration of life is happening this Friday at noon at State Farm Arena. Fans can secure free tickets to the ceremony. They are available on Ticketmaster today, starting at 2 p.m. You can secure a maximum of 2 tickets. If you want to go, you are encouraged to get there when the doors open at 11 a.m. State Farm Arena will offer free parking for guests with tickets in the Ruby lot on Baker Street Extension until that lot is full.
So there you have it. Not only are they giving out free parking, but you can actually attend Takeoff funeral services. It's going to be a real big one. I heard that Justin Bieber's performing, which is kind of crazy to me. I don't know if you knew him like that, but that's kind of strange. Yeah. Listen, we want to thank you guys so much for being with us on this new audio episode. If you guys haven't already, make sure you like the video, comment on the video, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Zaydon, for more great content. Listen, until we got further details, we're going to have to stop this investigation, gag review, new audio episode, until someone gets arrested and comes forward. But we wanted to sit down on a little bit of a high note with a little bit of imagery from Hotel Lobby, a color show with Quavo and Takeoff. So. Thank you guys so much for being with me on this new audio episode. Make sure you guys like this video, comment on this video, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Zaydon, for more great content. Until next then, Until then, I'll see you in my next video. Bye.